password. Oh, it's already got a thumbs up. How in the world? There's not even a viewer yet. Oh, I accidentally put lipstick next to the lipstick instead of on the lipstick. What a fool I am. Hello. I gotta stay in the light. Ghost detection. There's a skeleton right there. What is that? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Hello, James. Yay. Hi, Mike. Oh. Yay. Hello. Yay. Dun, 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 dun. So I don't have a whole lot of time. I have to go to therapy. But I have some really fun stuff to tell you about today. So I hope you guys... Hey. Hey. Yay. I think that you guys might really like this because I'm going to talk a little bit about my dad. I know I've done that before, about his science background because he's a paleontologist. But today I'm going to talk about his cartoonist animation background, and I have some really cool things to show you, show and tell. So for those of you who don't know, since you guys are here, I'm just going to start talking. Brazil! My dad was a cartoonist for Warner Brothers in the 80s. He did the pencil art, like the original drawings, and then somebody else would do the ink, and then somebody else would do the paint back when they did that. And he drew for Looney Tunes, and he drew for a couple of different comic books for DC, and one of them was the Frank Miller Dark Knight series. Hola! And one of them was called Wizard Wars, which was like, he drew in a way that I cannot. I've tried. I don't have the patience to do like the intricate details where you can see like every scale on a lizard that's not even a part of the story. Like I'm not that kind of artist. I don't have the attention span. But my dad was asked to draw all of the characters for a stamp set, like rubber stamps. Looney Tunes always beat Hanna-Barbera? Oh, easily. Any checks he got from cartooning, by the way, he called it Bugs Bunny money. He loved drawing cartoons, so he was like really happy to do it. And so the money he earned was kind of extra, you know? So he was a lot freer to spend Bugs Bunny money than he was for any other job. Like fossil money was cool, but mostly with fossils he would have to trade because you're not really allowed to sell like scientifically significant things, but you can trade them for stuff. I am drinking coffee. How dare you? Yeah, he used to trade for like school clothes for us. He would trade like shark's teeth with a surf shop, and they would put their shark's teeth in the display, and then we would get like rusty and rip curl backpacks and stuff that were like waterproof inside. I don't know. It was fun. Yay, Minute Writer! Hello! I was just saying I don't have a whole lot of time today because I have to go to an appointment, but I brought some fun stuff. Okay, so now that you guys have kind of that background, I'll say also my dad learned how to cartoon from his cousin, his first cousin, so my second cousin. Thank you. I took this picture the other day, poking the bird. There's a fire, so everything's orange. And I don't know where the fire is, and my car is covered in ash. Awesome. Hello, Mr. Jake Dean. Welcome back. So my dad learned to cartoon from his first cousin, who was a cartoonist named Al Cap, who created the Little Abner comic strip series, which nobody currently these days has heard of. But you would know it because that's where the Beverly Hillbillies characters came from. Hey, Pam! There was a big lawsuit and everything because they stole like the whole comic strip and made it into a TV show called the Beverly Hillbillies, and so Al Cap sued them justifiably, and there was a theme park created for the comic strip series, and my second cousin Al Cap created a holiday that you might have celebrated, that you've definitely heard of, called Sadie Hawkins Day. So Sadie Hawkins was a character in the Little Abner comic strip, and she could not get a man. So he created a race, a foot race, where the men got a head start, and then the women got to chase after them. And whoever the women caught in the race had to marry them that day. It was awesome. Anyway, so yes, that's my second cousin, Al Cap, and he taught my dad how to draw as a kid. And so then my dad used that to get the job at Warner Brothers, and then here we are. So now that we're all caught up, my dad designed 2 rubber stamp sets for a brand called Rubber Stampede in the 80s, and one of them he got to choose what character he wanted to draw, and he chose Marvin Martian. Right, Pam? Dating sounds easier. Not for her. She was supposedly very ugly, so you know. Oh, hello, Jafoni. 63 years since Marilyn Monroe. Oh, is that today? Oh, it is. Gross, sad. No, I didn't know. I didn't think about it. I try not to think about this day. I celebrate her birthday, but I try not to. Today is, yeah, I try not to. I appreciate that thought, though. Yes. Cheers to Marilyn on this day. Ugh. What's the outfit? Just a tank top now. So, and this is a super formal necklace with my tank top and showing bra straps. That don't make sense. Anyway, so my dad made a rubber stamp set. He chose to do Marvin the Martian, and then they had him do the basic set with all the like regular star characters. 360? Girl, no. Okay. So my dad lost his stamp sets because they sent him one of each that he had made, right? That he had drawn. I'll set my coffee down. But over time, those have been lost or stolen or misplaced by children. So here's the routine. So I've been trying to find the stamps that he drew. Thank you, Pam. I was like, you know what? That's the one I want to wear. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to tell you, I've only found 2 so far, but I'm going to give them to him when I see him next. So they had him draw Yosemite Sam, and so he drew Yosemite Sam with his 2 guns, because that's what he was. He was always like a gunslinger. And when they had them inked and painted, I don't know what happened with my voice there. They decided that the guns, because this was right when this started to happen, they decided that the guns were too violent for kids. Whatever. We all play Call of Duty, but can't have animated, silly looking 6-shooters. So the ink artist removed the guns. And so my dad was so mad when he saw the stamp. Oh my God, I hate it. Why? Because they took the guns out. Now he looks like he's standing stupid. He was like, now there's no reason for him to be standing that way. Why? Can I focus on it? Yeah. So he thought, well, now he looks stupid, and I didn't draw him to be stupid. So that's the stamp That's one of the stamps that my dad drew. This says 1990 copyright. Right? Maybe not much. Steve Smith. I don't know who that is. Flo Met. But if you know animators, that's cool. We used to get a Christmas card from Hal Gear every year, but he died. Okay, Lance. Viva. It's not Yosemite Sam without the guts. I know. He's just standing there with his little neckerchief. Doesn't make any sense. But, okay. Oh, I should have prepared. Do I have something that he wrote on? I don't. I'm looking around for... My dad likes to write his name. Like, he signs everything. Every gift he's ever given me, he writes on it with a Sharpie. Even if it's like a vintage magazine, he writes on it with a Sharpie. That's what he does. Ugh. Ugh. There's a fly in here. Why? Gross. Get out of here. Here, go out. Go outside. So, oops, sorry. I quit by the shame door. What? Okay. What's happening down in the chat here? Anyway, so my dad drew the Elmer Fudd stamp that says rabbit season, right? They let him have his gun. I don't know what the difference is. It's Rubber Stampede. This one's copyright 1992. Whatever. But, so my dad, when he submitted his art for this, he signed his initials on it. And when the inker did it, the inker thought it was part of the grass and included it. So if you look down at the bottom here, see if I can get it to, I'll post this on Discord too. You'll see where my dad signed RWS right here on the bottom right, where you usually sign your art. Because my dad's name is Rex Wingate St. Ange. And they included it not only on this, which you're not supposed to do. Like, he might get in trouble for me telling you this. Even now, decades later. But he signed RWS. The inker included it. And it's on the rubber part of the stamp. So whenever you use this stamp, it says his initials on it. Right above where it says, like, copyright Warner Brothers. Which is amazing. That's been so funny to us my whole life. We have always been like, how did you get away with that? And he's like, I really didn't think that the inker would include it. But they did. So that's amazing. Thank you, James. Your dad might be able to run faster than my dad. My dad used to be super fast then. Lotus position. What is happening? Escape from the Earth's jail castle. What? Hey, doofus. Yeah, Elmer Fudd. That's right. So these are two of my dad's stamps that he designed for Warner Brothers, and one of them has his signature on it, which he exclusively signed a contract not to do, I'm pretty sure. But I am trying to find the rest of these stamps, so we'll see if I can find them. But I love Google Translate. Yeah. But these are the two that I knew for sure he had done, because I remembered growing up and hearing the stories about the guns being removed and his signature being included. So now I just have to figure out what else he did. And I found the Marvin Martian set on eBay, but I don't have that kind of, like, I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff. And these had a story, so I wanted to at least get the ones that had a story. I watched the talk your dad did. He seems like a very cool guy. Yes, Pam, he is super cool. Yeah, he did that talk. I was going to include it in my interviews with him, but I think I'm going to have to take pieces out because it does belong to Griffith Observatory. But they also have a 30-minute show at Griffith Observatory if you go right now, and for however long, that he did for the 90th anniversary of Griffith, where they filmed Rebel Without a Cause and stuff. And he sang the song, like there's a Native American song that's sung in there, and it plays every hour. It's a half hour long in some show. Like you have to go into a room at Griffith and sit down and then watch the presentation. And it's like 33 minutes long or something. And I would like to get that too, but I think I'll have to go to there and film it myself because they own that and they will not give it to me. But if I wanted to include clips of it to introduce my dad for segments on my channel, I could do that. So anyway, I thought this was super fun and I wanted to share this with you, that my dad's initials are on his stamp, and the story about them taking the guns out, which is so stupid. Why? Hey Mel, what's going on with you? Why are you being so weird? Anyway, so next time I see my dad, I'm gonna give him these and see what other stories he can tell me about stamps so that I can find those and locate them. I was saying earlier, I don't have a whole lot of time today because I have to go to an appointment. I have to leave by 4 o'clock at the latest possible time. So I am going to do my best to do that. Best stamp story ever. Try to animate, make a buzz, make a fuzz. You are interesting. Flo, where are you from? Let's see. I had a ghost tour last night. There was a kid. They used the dowsing rods, and then like a spider threw its web all over the dowsing rods while the kid was holding them within like 10 seconds. It was really strange. What else? I feel like something spooky happened. I can't remember what it was. Have you guys had any spooky ghost stories happen recently? Or ever that you want to share? In the meantime, I have a couple of ghost-themed energy drinks that I'm going to try soon, but I didn't want to do it today because I feel like I'm not... Sorry, that was my alarm to get ready to leave. Flo Mel, no shit. What are you... I don't know. You're very strange. Guess where you're from? I don't know, man. I care about this much. And it's shrinking. Because you're being weird and you're being rude. So I don't care that much, but I thought if you obviously needed some attention, I would give it to you in hopes that it would satisfy you and you would leave us alone. You've never seen anything weird. Okay. Okay. Most people say that, and I feel like it's the same as if you didn't know about cameras at the grocery store. Or even if you do know about cameras at the grocery store, but if I said, where are they? You might not know where any of them actually specifically are because you're not looking for them, you know? So I feel like a lot of times I'll hang out with people who have never had an experience or whatever, and then I point it out when something weird happens, and then they notice it, and then they're like, oh, what did he do? Well, I could have, but I might not know. Yeah. I had a dream. I was on a spaceship when okay. I'm gonna try to get this fly outside. Come on, fly. Go. Oh, almost. Oh. Did he go? Nope. I'm gonna get him. Where'd he go? Damn it. This is gonna drive me insane. It's gonna drive me insane. I know he's in here still. This is some good YouTube right here. Sorry. I don't know if I've experienced something for sure, a more mystic type connection. I don't know what Flo Mel is doing. What? Okay. Everybody's freaking me out right now. All right, I'm gonna close my window because I don't know where that fly went. I gave him a really good out too. I was like, it was an open window. James, you're silly. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, oh, that's right. I titled the stream Family Stories because I wanted to share a little bit about my family. How's Bunny Butt doing? She's good. I think I figured out why her butt gets so dirty. Did he jump? Did who jump? Okay, Bug Brother is watching. That's cute. Antoine, hello. So when the bunny uses her little like cat box things, yeah, she backs up against the side of it and then goes. Like she's pushed up against the back of it. So when it comes out, it has nowhere to go except like onto her. I don't know where she learned to do that. So I have to figure out how to like get it away from her. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if it's shaped like this on the sides so that when she backs up to it, there's still some, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know why she does that. Okay, so I told you about my dad. I told you about my cousin. Also, my dad's uncle. This might be fun for people too. My dad's uncle, my great uncle, was an actor named Milton Fro, and he was a bit part actor back in the day, and he was in everything. He was like Milton Berle would do stand-up comedy, and my great uncle was a straight man plant in the audience, like a planted heckler, and he would heckle Milton Berle, and they would go back and forth and have a great time. Flo, if you want to know about me, literally scroll through my channel of 8 years of content. You'll get to know me pretty well. So that's what he did, but he was also a bit part actor, character actor. He was in everything. He played some lieutenant that worked with Major Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie, and then he was also the grocery store, like the grocer in I Dream of Jeannie. So like he worked in produce in an episode. That bird is frozen. Yes. Quick tips. Yes, it is. Later, Mel. And then he was in an episode of The Twilight Zone called The Four of Us Are Dying, and it's about a guy who can change his face by looking at a picture, and he's committing a bunch of crimes, and they can't catch him, this bird, and because he changes his face to look like a picture that he looks at, and then my great uncle shoots him to catch him because he's getting away. He's a detective, and as the guy dies, his face goes through all the different iterations that it was in the Twilight Zone episode. So it's like the four of them are dying, I guess. I don't know why it's called that. It's kind of a dumb title, but right, Pam? Yeah, he was in Bewitched for something. I don't know all the parts that he played. One time I went to CVS and I was waiting for a prescription, and I was walking around, and I was like 19. I worked at Disneyland at the time, and they make you walk around while you're waiting for your prescription. And so I found one of those bins of like the really thin DVD cases with like the really old Charlie Chaplin movies and stuff, which I used to buy every time I was there. I would see which ones they had that I didn't have yet, and I have an entire DVD collection of Charlie Chaplin shorts. But I found one that was the Colgate Comedy Hour with Abbott and Costello, and it was when they performed Who's On First in front of a live audience for the USO, and no, not for the USO, for Colgate Comedy Hour. And then after Who's On First is performed, which is like iconic and crazy, my great uncle walks out, like the curtains close, my great uncle walks out in his full like military USO uniform, and he was the chairman of the USO at the time, and he says he wants Abbott and Costello to perform on the USO tour, and they say that they would love to, and then he leaves, and it's like a whole joke thing that happens. I was so excited to see him come out, and it was at like such a popular, highly viewed moment, and I was so proud, and I called my dad. I still have it. I still have the DVD. It was so exciting. It would have been cool if it had been the Annabelle episode of Twilight Zone. Oh yeah, Talking Tina. I forget what that episode is called. I think it's just, oh no, it's The Living Doll, right? Is that what it's called? Something like that. James, thank you. I'm super proud of, I have a lot of really cool stories in my family. Everybody else got the success. I came along and I was like, hey, maybe nepotism is a thing. And no, it's not. Because I'm still a nobody. But, you know, it sure would have been cool if something along the lines would have gotten me something. I will say that to this day, my dad is in my debt probably till I die. Because when he was a cartoonist in, what does that sound? When in 1988, I think, they were filming the Batman movie. Thank you. We're all somebody to someone. Yeah, I guess. They were filming Batman. My dad used to take me around. You guys have seen my dad. He's like super funny, but also not super mature. So he used to take me around as a baby when I was like 2, and I had no hair. I was bald until I was 3 years old. And so he would carry me around and introduce me to all the different cartoonists at Warner Brothers. Like, we lived right across the street, and he would walk in and carry me around to each desk, and each cartoonist, he would say, hey, this is my daughter, and they would go, oh, hi, and they would fuss over a baby being there, and then they would give, he had a canvas bag with the blue Warner Brothers logo on it, like a powder blue logo. Oh, well, he's not allowed to sign his name on stuff, but he did sometimes. But he signed a contract saying credit would go to only Frank Miller or only whatever. But his name was Rex. And he would hold out this canvas bag like we were trick-or-treating. I was his tool to trick-or-treat with the cartoonists, and each cartoonist kind of specialized, like they were assigned certain characters that they had to draw most of the time. Like for him it was Roadrunner and Coyote the most, and Sylvester and Tweety the most. And he hated that Coyote never caught Roadrunner, so he drew, and they signed a contract saying they'll never draw the characters doing something that the characters wouldn't do. So he could not legally draw the Coyote catching the Roadrunner. But in an unofficial capacity, you can draw a certain percentage of the character that doesn't give away too much. So he figured out that percentage, and he drew like the desert background just for himself to have, just for catharsis. The desert background, Coyote's ears, and Coyote's tail sticking up from behind a rock. And then on the ground, there were feathers. There was a Roadrunner foot and a Roadrunner beak and a fork and a knife. Because he couldn't stand that the Coyote could never catch the Roadrunner, and he just wanted to feed the Coyote. And so he drew that for himself. But, oh my gosh. Hi, hey Pomp, how you doing? So what was I talking about? Oh, so anyway, so he would walk me around to all the different cartoonist desks, and they would all give him a figurine of the characters they drew the most, like a little rubber figurine, like a toy. And so they'd drop in like a Tweety Bird or whatever. I'm okay. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Today is a fun stream because I'm kind of like bragging about my family. So they would drop in all these little figurines, And my dad would say, thank you. And then we'd move on to the next desk. And that person would say, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And they'd give us a little toy, and we would keep going. And you know what, you guys? I never saw those figurines again because my dad kept them all. Those were not for me. They were never for me. He always knew those were for him, and he would keep them. And he did. He kept them. Although he's lost a lot of them to like his children taking them. Not me, but yeah, he's lost a lot of them. So I do need to figure out where those are and try to collect those again too. But one of the days that he was taking me around for free toys, I forget who the name was. Somebody at Warner Brothers approached him because they said that since I had no hair, I could look like a boy or a girl because nobody ever knew what I was unless I wore like a big frilly bonnet or something because I had no hair. Right, Pam? It's so healing to look at. So this guy some bigwig approached my dad while he was walking around with me, and they said, we need a baby for a film we're working on. Can your daughter be in it? And my dad said no. He said no. I would have been in Batman with Michael Keaton, and he said no. So to this day, if I can't land a role or if I'm not successful, which I'm not, I'm like, anytime I ask him for anything, I'm like, I could have been in Batman, and then he has to give it to me. So that's been my big upper hand against I know, Pump. I was right there. And later, I didn't even know that happened until later because I was a baby. And when he told me later, I've never forgiven him. He had to drive me to acting classes every weekend just because he did that. And dude, I was so close. And I asked him, why did you say no? And he, originally, when I was like 8, he said, oh, it was too far of a drive. And I we couldn't make the drive to do it. And I said, oh, okay. And that made sense to me for a long time. And then as I got older, I was like, wait a minute, we lived right across the street from Warner Brothers. And then it's because, oh, it wasn't too far to drive. They filmed that at Pinewood Studios in England. So he didn't want to go to England. Yes, that too, Pam. Later, when I was like, it was not too far to drive, he said, well, I didn't want you to be a child actor and become some weird drug addict who was getting like molested by a bunch of weird studio people, because that's always been happening. So those are his reasons he gave, but I still don't forgive him. I still could have been in Batman. But I watched the movie and I watched the credits and it said like infant baby or something. I forget the kid's name in the movie. I think he almost gets hit by a car in a stroller or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But that kid has never done anything else. That was his only role. It wouldn't have been mine. That would have been the beginning. But no. Nope. That kid's never been in anything else. Oh my God. Okay, so I have to go. I have an appointment. I have to leave like right now. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you like the stamps. I am super proud of those. I'm really proud of my family and my dad. Most of my family. And I'm going to go talk about them at a different appointment. You might have got that headset cheaper. I know. You didn't say. I did though. I could have been a Batman. I could have told everybody. I would have used it as a stepstone to something else. He didn't. That kid didn't use it for anything. He was like, I'm good, thanks. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed my stories about my family. I'm going to start posting little short clips of like my cousin interviewing John Lennon, and I'm going to interview my dad some more and have him talk about stuff like this. I might have him tell the stories about the stamps, and then if he's got any other stamp stories, I want to hear those too. And then Milton no longer with us, but my dad has a ton of stories about Milton Fro, so maybe I can have him tell some of those too. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for coming so much. It means the world to me. I'm sorry it was such a short stream. That's as much time as I had before I have to go. Maybe I'll come on later, but you guys know me, so probably not. All right, so thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. I hope you all have a great day and a great week. And yes, as it was pointed out, this is a sad day in the Maryland community, but chin up, guys. Cheers, no tears for Maryland. All right. Thank you. Bye, James. Bye, Mike. Oh, bye, Midnight Rider. Bye, Pam. Bye, Pomp. Bye. Is that? Oh, Flo. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Mwah.